Let's just jump into it. As per usual with the story, no talking. Well, I'll talk, but I won't be interacting with chat much. We're just going to go through the story as smoothly and as swiftly as the story lets us. If I remember last time, again, it was only just yesterday, but I still need to try to remember. Last time we did the whole stuff. It was actually the flashback of what led Kira to being with us in Salt Snow Holy City. With Sugars, Niggurath was there, Competo, Charter, the Fallen Star died, and now I think the implication is that the Salt Snow is the Star Rock. What did they call it last time? The Star Rock? The Fallen Rock? I don't know what it is, but I think the implication is that the Holy Snow, the Salt Snow, is especially the crystals are it. And then whenever someone dies, it's like exploding or something. I'm not sure, but anyway, continuing on. Time is ticking. Let's get moving. Somehow Kiana's going to be involved. I'm looking forward to figuring out how she's going to get somehow involved in this. Or maybe that background is just like a little storytelling thing. Anyway. Oh yeah, we also found out about Sa, the abyss of the Sea of Quanta. Anyway. The Twin Bubble Universes, Sa, an existence that dominates this world's rules, and a Hersha born in the Sea of Quanta, a grand tapestry beyond everyone's imagination was quietly unfolding, but the creator remained elusive. Celia and the others sank deep into their thoughts until someone finally broke the long silence. Okay, guys. Thinking does us no good. If you ask me, the most urgent business at hand is to stabilize the situation. We could figure out what to do with that Sa later. Celia has used the Sage's authority and temporarily held the Bubble Universe in place, but the merging is still going on. This could indeed be the underlying rule established by Sa at the very beginning. If that's the case, the three keys I mentioned earlier, they could open a door to hell. It's no time to be sentimental. Professor Rock, you said that there was a way to anchor the two worlds to a point and project them onto the proper world, right? Yes, only theoretically, but as I said, we must first make sure of the anchor's stability. Here we go, Professor Rock with her goddamn scientific talk. Oh god. As I said, we must first make sure that the anchor's stability, clumsy imitation of what Durandal did, is not short of suicide. Okay, that's why you want the authority of the Hersha from the Sea of Quanta, right? You guys have mentioned another kind of authority dozens of times. Can it work too? Another authority? You mean... Am I too quick to follow? The Sage's authority, of course. Yes, you're no Hersha, but the authority does come from the Sea of Quanta. The Sage's authority is not comparable to a Hersha's from the proper world, and it cannot serve as a fixed point mathematically. Choto Mate, I love that word so much. I love saying wait, or the word wait in Japanese. So good. Dr. Schrodinger, fundamentally, we need to stabilize the two bubble universes and stop them from being eroded by the Sea of Quanta, right? That's mathematically the fixed point of this world. What if I say we already have it? Everyone would be shocked. Because in these two worlds, there exists an everlasting axis. Or axis. Wait. I see. It's like traveling across the world to find something that's one step from you. It's exactly because it's too obvious that everyone has ignored it. You all get it? What does this main axis mean, or axis? Mr. Lin lifted a finger to point at the gigantic salt crystal on top of the tower. The high tower with the sages is in every way an eternal location for the two worlds. Maybe it can serve as an anchor, right, Mr. Schrodinger? We have to see, but ironically, this might indicate the tower itself only came into being due to Sa's implemented rule. But we've got to turn it against Sa. It's like using Honkai energy to fight against Honkai in the proper world. Unlike what already happens, eh? Well, the old saying goes, don't mind the details. Anyway, there's hope we can set up the anchor with the axis, right? Well, let's, not so fast. Sentience. What's wrong now? In Durandal's case, we had a device that could naturally integrate the bubble universe and concentrate all spatial information at one point to accomplish the inversion. But right now, the High Tower isn't in full control of the black and white worlds. Am I right, Prometheus and Mr. Lane? Indeed, but I have a theory. Celia, can you try to use the Sage's authority and feel the place where the spatial energy is the most dense in the bubble universe? Constellation might do it. Okay. Celia puts her palms together, closed her eyes, and lowered her head, as if praying. Very soon, a faint glow began to emerge in her hands. Seely opened her eyes. I can feel it! Like fireflies in the dark. A few special points with light. I think I can find them. These places might be the key to putting everything together. They're the key nodes of consolation and nexuses to ensure the Sages of Authority can reach everywhere in the world. Makes sense. But to replicate Durandal's feat, we need at least one pair of coordinates that can connect the proper world, in plain words, a path leading back to the proper world. Back then, this was solved automatically by Genius, but now we need to work on our own to make it happen. Don't worry, it's easy. Celia and I had swimmed in the Sea of Quanta for a long time, locating the proper world. We've once done that for Bronya. It was in the eye of the deep. Susanna, Seely, I might not be able to do that. Huh? After entering this bubble universe, my perception in the Sea of Quanta has stopped working. This world seems to be blocking my senses. And right now, I really just can't leave the High Tower. Or maybe it's a connection with the Sage that has subjected you to the rule. If Sa is real, it won't be happy to see someone running away with its world. I happen to know a better candidate. What about the ex-World Serpent Agent over there? Isn't she good at reaching out her claws from the Sea of Quanta to snatch someone in the proper world? Now it's your time to shine, Mistolin. Yeah, I wasn't thoughtful enough and I got you into this trouble. I'll reflect on it and take the responsibility. Good. She said she'd take the responsibility, but it's very likely your hope on her will fail. Mistolin does have the ability to manipulate space, but it's not the same as the Hersher of the Void or the Cosmic Juggernaut. Take our journey in the Sea of Quanta for example. She has to use the relative location of the bubble universes and the perception of abnormal stigmata for a rough direction, and also make abnormal stigmata beacons to rely on. She can only do that? Then how did she manage to kidnap Seely here? And you too, by the way, Senti. Well, I just tried over and over again. In the rough direction of the proper world, I kept making and transferring fishes, and of course only targets meeting certain conditions can get through. Simply put, it's like playing a claw machine. And maybe my luck was good and I got 3 people actually. That wasn't a proper apology. Oh, sorry, analogy. No, actually, that's a pretty good analogy. It's a pretty good, like, it's just RNG. She was rolling the dice that they would stumble upon the portal if she just chucked out a billion portals. They were like, oh, we'll stumble upon them. We're not a bubble universe apart. I'll spill your blood now. Do we have any other way to get back? Judging from the current circumstances, hard to say. And according to you, the fishes I made appeared near the imaginary singularity Nagazora. Looking back now, this might have something to do with Sa's influence. Oh wait, on the other side, indeed, influence. Thinking of something important, Mr. Lin turned around and walked to the stairs. Where are you going? Hey. Leave the proper world coordinates to me. All you need to do is connect the base anchor to the axis and build a world level. Base anchor, world level. What does that all mean? Nobody knows. Without answering the question, Mr. Lin left abruptly. She walked away. I think she meant the actual nodes perceived by Seely through the constellation and not yet present anchor that can control the whole world just like the one inside Durandal. As we discussed, the High Tower and the Sage can work temporarily in a similar way as the Holy Blade and Durandal. And in the long term, as soon as we get back to the proper world, we can get help from Kiana and the others. It makes sense, but I still feel something is off. Yeah. Who knows what kind of harmless idea she'll come up with again. True. No, since she decided to do it alone, perhaps... Please rest assured, I believe she has learned a lesson from before. Do you think so? She looked confident. If we don't put trust in this strange lady, we're sitting ducks here. It won't hurt to trust her, will it? You're her victim. If you can't forgive her, what can you say? Okay. Don't flatter yourself. That's alright, as long as there's an agreement. There is agreement. No HSR today? No. We're just doing a more Honkai backstory. There'll be HSR probably on Friday. We'll do the next chapter of HSR on Friday. Just to make sure the plan works, I have to remind you. There's someone at your side who hasn't spoken yet. Everyone hesitated. Everyone looked at Vita. And then they turned their eyes to the same person. Why are you all looking at me? It's not like I have a say in this. After all, I'm nobody. I just have slightly better luck than usual. As if trying to avoid the topic, Vita ran to Seely and reached for her hand. Just then... Oh. They are, in fact, making it seem like Vita is the final villain. Who knows? She might be. Who knows? Vita might actually be the final villain. Interesting. Incredible foreshadowing. Everyone looked at Vita in suspicion. Everyone was like, hey, you haven't spoken for this whole time. Are you just gathering information or something? Are you just here, eavesdropping or something like that? Oh my god, what was that sound effect? What the fuck? Oh. Why would they attack Vita? That's going to be probably the next question that someone asks. Why were they attacking you, Vita? Are you alright, Vita? I'm fine. I'm not good at anything, but my reflexes are quick. Sorry, the oracles the sage left behind. I don't know why they... Seems it happened before, The first time we arrived in Sultan Holy City, Vita was also attacked by the oracles. That was, The oracles are the part of the sage's authority. Generally speaking, they won't attack someone without the sage's orders. At least while Mr. Lin and I are here, no one in Snow City was attacked. The oracles, they seem to be guarding against Vita. Isn't Vita a good citizen? Well, the sand servants on our side tried to attack wisps who were citizens, but the wisps were immersed in my dream. Maybe that's why. These wisps were in my control and they went against the sage's rules. Very likely. The sand servants and the oracles are two sides of the same coin. They did that for a reason. Again, everyone's eyes focused on Vita, who seemed to be getting nervous. I'm indeed simply an innocent civilian. It must be so. Just like Assisti and the machines in the city, the oracles run on software developed by you, the Great Envoy, right? It must be a software error or something that wrongly identified me as an enemy. Nope, the oracles weren't made by me. As I said, they're a part of the sage's authority. There's another personality which is, There's another personality that you're lying... Oh, possibility, not personality. Possibility that you're lying. Kira suddenly closed in on Vita and he grabbed her right hand. Kira! Although I've always found you suspicious, I've only now become certain that you are hiding something. I remember you once said you don't know what artificial intelligence was, no? Ooh. Got him. So I'm guessing you haven't met her yet. This is Assisti. I wasn't talking about her name. If I'm not mistaken, this is an artificial intelligence, right? This is the first time I've heard anyone call Assisti that. In that case, why do you understand the fact that they operate based on programs? Aha! Figured it out. Vita is lying to us. We've never spoken about this topic in detail, so Vita couldn't have learned anything from our conversations, which means... Cat's got your tongue, eh, Vita? You claim to be a resident of Salt Snow Holy City, and even have an identification code, Vita. Who are you exactly? I've been exposed, they. Can't be helped. How do I put this? I didn't want to do this either, eh? So she's beating around the bush. What do you mean you didn't want to do this? Well, what I mean is... I have no choice. It's not the right time. Right or not, you must speak. You've heard my story just now. It's time to tell yours. I agree, we'll decide if you have the malicious intentions after we've heard your story. Well, because you've already discussed it, my story is actually really simple. Simply put, I'm not a native resident of this bubble universe indeed. I just happened to live in the Holy City when the Envoy was handing out identification codes. And you've already heard my previous hometown. The ruined bubble universe that Kira was talking about just now. Fallen Star. Nani? Hey now, don't spout nonsense. That universe had been destroyed more than 100 years ago. Hey listen, I knew that all of you wouldn't believe me if I talked about it. But I'm not lying. That Professor Charter who you all have met, he is my friend too. You're not making this up, are you? I know they are empty words. You said Professor Charter had an unfinished note that had an aphorism written on it, right? You're right, but... Was that aphorism always hope for tomorrow? Always live as yourself every day? Everyone is shocked. I thought that always stay optimistic would come after always hold hope for tomorrow. Wait, I've never told anyone what he wrote on the note. And the V on that pen. Vita. So Vita, you... I'm sorry, I can only try to regain everyone's trust this way. On the last evening of 199 of the Starlight calendar, an hour before the Great Explosion, that was the first time that the new Planet Recon team had set off. The new Planet Recon team? Professor Charter had given up on looking for hope for the future, and that's just how he was. Professor Charter and the other researchers in Atlas secretly created a transportation that could leave the Fallen Star, and I, for some special reasons, happened to be on the first member selected, or one of them. I can never forget what I saw that day. The Fallen Star, the home we relied on, was instantly swallowed by the flare of the Great Explosion. The light that once brought us warmth and hope, the light of starlights, became such an ominous and frightening wisp. That happened so abruptly. Aside from me, who was performing maintenance for the aircraft, the others weren't able to board in time. I knew then that I had lost my hometown. I've become a lonely drifter again. And after drifting for an arduous time, I fortunately came to this universe. My aircraft crashed into the wilderness outside Salt Snow Holy City. The residents of the city accepted me, an outsider of unknown origin. They treated me as their friend and family. I'm really grateful. And from then on, I decided to live here peacefully, until I met all of you. And as for why the Oracles attack me, I'm afraid it's because they can tell that I don't belong to this universe, so they are instinctively more cautious for me, or of me, for the safety of the city. It may be rude for me to continue pursuing the matter, but you said that you lost your hometown again. That means that you're not a native resident of Fallen Star either, right? Yep. But I really have no evidence for anything that happened before that. For example, the world that I was raised in was not Earth. Be it Salt Snow or Fallen Star, they aren't part of Earth either. That's not what I meant, Kira. For instance, to all of you, Professor Charter, Grandpa K, Grandma Izzy, and Uncle Pankaj are all residents of this bubble universe, not the real world, right? Do you mean you're not like them? I'm truly different from them. In your words, I think the world I was raised in was Mars. Like the Mars in the 8 planets of the solar system? Oh. Yep. Our civilization had been destroyed by Honkai long ago. Back then, we didn't have the ability to travel across planets. As a survivor, I spent an endless amount of time in the abyss of the Sea of Quanta, and now that I think about it, there's no concept of time in that sort of place. Anyway, after much time had passed in the outside world, I was able to travel from space in Mars to space on Earth thanks to an extremely rare coincidence. Unlike us, your civilization flourished more. Over the long period of time, you guys were able to create countless hollow projections. During my travels, I once witnessed the samsara in a certain kingdom and visited cute puppets that led a miniature world. I'm assuming that's a reference to some of the events that the game has had, like the Honkai Kingdoms event or something like that. And of course, there were tragedies like the Fallen Star 2. I remember that you were all surprised that I found the people in Salt Snow Holy City very interesting. The reason why I like everyone here is, perhaps those who have lost their hometown forever cherish their new neighbors more. Very powerful. Nobody spoke. Mars was very distant from Earth, but everyone here recalled some of their own experiences. A drifter in the Sea of Quanta. A survivor of the Great Eruption. An orphan who had lost her home. And we cannot change the past, but we can change the future. And after a short collective silence... Listen, Vita, we managed to find a basic plan to save Salt Snow Holy City and Country by Sand. With Dr. Schrodinger's discovery just now, then, as someone who is also a drifter in the Sea of Quanta, can you provide everyone with additional help? That's a tough one. Although Professor Charter's aircraft is still in the wilderness outside the city, we can't rely on it to reactivate and help everyone in the Sea of Quanta. The interferometer. What is that? So you don't know about it either. It's a type of nanochip that can be implanted in the human body to perform exhaustive algorithm on the near future, theoretically speaking. It can sum up all the possible choices in a specific space. I think that's what it does. Do you know a lot about the interferometer? More accurately, decades ago, Miss Edison once used this sort of device in front of me, but Prometheus, as the strongest AI of the previous era, do you really know nothing about this? I'm really surprised. Why do you think that I'll understand a device that only seems to work theoretically? If there's a chance, I'd like to get a sample for research. Or maybe you can take a look at me after we rescued this universe. I've already been implanted with an interferometer when I went on Venus. When I was on Venus.
だとするとリタさんはさっき自分は
Vita once said that her luck is better and her reactions are faster. Is it because of this technology from Venus? It would seem so that this future predicting device that I have implanted in my brain does in fact let me react a bit faster. Vita, can you control the interferometer in you to perform some specific calculations for us? Well, I can't promise anything, but if you can implant some program plugins into my body, maybe you can use that as a quantum calculator. Well, if you don't mind, we could try that. It is very helpful to the plan that we just have discussed. Then okay. Are we gonna start now? Just as Mr. Land left without a word, Prometheus took Vita, who was a Venusian, away to investigate without explanation. Wow, Prometheus is motivated. There looks like there's still things in this world that she doesn't completely understand. Interesting. Things are getting worse by the second. For the black and white worlds, we can't go on discussing mere theories. And as I mentioned before, to connect the twin bubble universes to the real world and prevent its inevitable demise, we must act immediately. Susanna. I noticed that you've been taking notes the whole time. Can you summarize our plan to everyone again? You'll do fine. Then I'm gonna go for it. Susanna opened the notebook and she had nervously, she crammed the words and even unique drawings. Okay, I shall summarize the direction of operation and individual responsibilities. Oh, so that's why she's here. Yeah, it's just pure metaphors and whatnot and pure imagery. Nice. The main objective of this operation is to stabilize two worlds with anchors and launch them back into the real world. Ultimately, by using Kiana's power, the two worlds will gain a stable structure and be saved from doom. And to do this, we need to first find a number of basic anchors distributed across the two worlds and then connect them to an axis, which is the Sage Tower. This way, we will be able to construct a world-scale anchor, which is essentially obtaining a rope that can pull two bubble universes, right? That's correct. And now for our individual responsibilities. I'll talk about the Sultan Holy City first. Nice images. First, it's Sealy. Because she cannot leave the tower for long, she is mainly responsible for using the Sage's authority to locate the basic anchors. Okay, leave that to me. Next is Kira. She'll try to contact our comrade Ingarath and Sugars. Although I don't expect much from Elder Compedo in terms of bravery, if we can get their help, it'll make things twice as easy. In a way, it's not troublesome to make contact with them. You can treat me as a standby unit and assign tasks accordingly. Next, I'll write all these down, and then... for myself, I'll do my best to do all the errands and note-taking, and let me know if you need anything. And then there's Miss Prometheus. My job is to provide information and analysis on the situation, just as before. And then next... Prometheus is back. I'm really surprised too. She completed her analysis of the interferometer instantly, and even inserted some specific plugins for me to use. She's amazing. I'm ready to offer my help. Well, just a disclaimer, we don't fully trust your explanation from before. Oh my god, Kira, you're so strict. I'd already given various details, but that's alright. I'll prove myself through actions. Are you sure that you can be of help? She is very useful indeed. You'll see later. We can look at Mr. Lin next. She's already moving independently. I'm sure she has her own ideas from past experiences. We can ignore her for now. We'll reach a common goal in the end. Okay. We've accounted for Vita too. I'll go through the situation in the country of Iron Sand. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, Schrodinger's there too, I was confused. Okay, other Sealy will locate the basic anchors there, as she's also the new Sage. Okay, that's a piece of cake. The residents here are all whiffs. When it comes to running and evacuating, they'll be better than those living people on the other side. Next is Senti. Wait, why are you calling me Senti? Who do you think you are? Okay. I heard from the senpais at Shixel that I can call you this way. Okay. Okay, Miss Hirsch of Sentience's mission is clear all obstacles that may appear while connecting the anchors, such as monsters from the Sea of Quanta. And on that side, you guys don't have Prometheus for external support. Hirsch of Sentience, you bear a heavy responsibility. What a reasonable assignment of tasks. After all, when it comes to battling, I'm a league above everyone else here. So you're just a fighter. A job perfect for you. I think an obstacle has appeared in front of me. They are a funny dynamic, the Veliona and Senti. Very good dynamic. Please get along with each other. We won't be able to complete this task with this mission otherwise. And then lastly, it's Dr. Schrodinger. I'll do what I've been doing before. Act as a medium of communication between two groups, open a channel for all of you, and provide my suggestions. And that's all for the plan we've conceived according to the current situation. That's a good summary. Time is ticking. So, are we gonna start? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Everyone has a goal. Everyone is cool. Everyone knows what they're doing. Between stories, human emotions are bound to change slightly, yet mysteriously. Just like the country of iron sand that had lost its order, uncertainty and panic rose up in Seely's heart. As the constellation of souls persisted, the discomfort from before relieved over time. The bubble universe was still approaching destruction, and it was clear who held the Sage's authority. That was more like a curse. The end. The helplessness born from being unable to share her pain was more unbearable than being separated by space and time. The faith of the masses, and a heart that is selfless, would only conceive a flower that would surely wither. Its fragrance is rich, but to smell it, one must prepare to face death. Even though she knew those were merely words meant to sow discord, they weighed heavy on her heart like a curse and struck her with fear. But it was not the time to think about those inner struggles. And so, she could only let out a long sigh, as if she could exhale all those depressing emotions. And right then, she heard an echo from deep within her soul. Don't worry about it, Seely. Even though she hid all of her concerns in her heart, the other her could still feel wisps of her emotions. The tower has alleviated most of the effects of the bubble universe's destruction from me. I'm fine. You don't have to deliberately comfort me. I know what you're going through. I'm not putting up a front, if I must say now, we're stronger than when we were in the Lost in the Sea of Quanta, and there are many others helping too. Yep. Seely muttered her reply. As the frown on her face eased, it seems like Seely's words had helped her relax her nerves, and so she had the mood to joke around. Plus, you hold the fate of this universe and our future in your hands. The rest is up to you, the other me. Of course. Don't worry, Seely, we'll resolve everything. I'll protect you just like every time before. And at this point, she did not know how the tower in her heart was built upon unstable sand. A moment later, in the Salt Snow Holy City. Now this... Oh, we're just infested with monsters now. Thank God. Shigure! Kira observed her surroundings carefully with an unusually serious expression. I didn't even receive a response from the distress signal I sent to the Sugars. Don't tell me that the Elder and the others also encountered something in this world. No, I should leave this place before I consider all of that. I can only rely on myself now. Can you take on the enemies? I'll do my best. It's okay, Susanna, just do your usual thing. Mic'd. Can you hear me? Akira withdrew her hand that covered Susanna's mouth and shushed her. Don't be so loud, those monsters are sensitive to sound. And you, Vita, are you dying for us to be found by those enemies? Sorry, it's been so long since I used such an advanced technological communication tool, so I couldn't help my excitement. She was still acting as if she didn't know what AI was just a day ago. Well, that was to integrate myself into the life here and avoid catching unnecessary attention. Okay. Next, Seely will go into constellation mode and focus on the following basic anchors in real time, allow follow hints, Seely coordinates by using your sensitive algorithm in the near future, and then I'll control the cruising robot as a guide. Well, that means the basic anchors will move. Well, yes, that's true, but they will stop at a location for a duration after each change, so you can still consider them as an inanimate object within a short period of time. In favor of efficiency, I'll try to choose the part that has the least enemies. Be careful not to be discovered by them. Okay. Assistive, but since blah blah blah. So they're completely stationary. Okay, it kind of just removes the idea of stealth, but fair enough. Vita V. Vita is technically just Vil V, right? No, that's true. That's true. Vita is Vil V. Vil V. This is where the first anchor is. It was very close, actually. Do 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 do.
ここには
There's nothing here. Anchor is originally a general term for a special type of spatial structure, as high-dimensional existences it's only normal for them to be invisible in their natural state, but that's okay. As long as you pray piously, Sealy can use the Sage's power to bring them into existence. Well, I didn't know the Sage's authority can be used that way. It reminds me of the Hersher of Reason. Okay, then Susanna, go for it.
まずはあなたがやってみて。はい、私に任せてください。
Do 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 do. Sealy, no, the Great Sage, please bring the anchors into existence so they may connect to the tower. Wub 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 wub. Whoa. I can't believe it, they appeared. This is interesting. I recorded the entire process with a robot, however, it's impossible to see the construction of anchors even in the smallest time unit. Without a process, how is this possible? Well, I'm not sure either. Actually, after I felt your prayer deep in my heart, power flowed to the subject of the prayer on its own. It's like an instinct. I'm afraid this is also a mechanism of the bubble universe. Something can be created from nothing as long as someone prays. We're lucky that the Sage's authority is in our hands. Otherwise, if someone wishes for the world destruction, the Sage stupidly agrees. Don't make it sound so bad. Wasn't the previous Sage independent-minded? If we aren't in a situation so dire, this cool ability will have more fun uses. But the Sage's power isn't used for pranks. I feel a chill behind my back. Is it just me? No, Vita is playing us for a fool right now. Like, Vita's just, like, starts cackling as soon as the thing appears. She's like, ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. The two quickly reach the second anchor under Vita's guidance, yada yada yada, pray, pray, pray. Thankfully, Vita managed to accurately figure out the direction instantly. If not, we would have searched forever. It's amazing to be able to deduce the future. Although it requires the mysterious interferometer, in this process, it was not only Prometheus, Vita also had to do some necessary technological work, right? You really can't judge a book by its cover. Just from how you spoke and acted before, it's difficult to associate with the title of a post-apocalyptic engineer or astronaut. Kira was prepared to respond to Vita's retorts, but the usually talkative girl went silent this time. Are you guys there? After a while, a buddy and girly voice rang again. Did something happen, Vita? Something unusual happened to the other Sealy and the rest on the other side, but it looks like they managed to resolve it themselves, nothing to worry about. Although it seems like you mean to say that I was very childish before, but I'll take it as a compliment. So you were listening. But deducing the future is actually not as difficult as you imagine. The interferometer doesn't have the ability to directly see the future, it only simulates possible outcomes when we perform a certain action, and deduces information from them, something like a weather report. That's not quite right though. A weather report can't control the weather after all. I'll say it this way instead. Time always has crossroads that lead to countless futures. The interferometer can only calculate the trails of these crossroads and find the most useful one for everyone. If these crossroads didn't exist in the first place, how can I deduce anything? Choto mate. That means it's not only because Silly brought up the existence of the anchors, it's also because we are searching for the anchors, that's why you can provide guidance. That's exactly it. That's what I meant. Like a spaceship that's flying and being repaired at the same time. That analogy doesn't help. The future isn't a single line, but countless possibilities overlapping each other to create a messy picture. Because you guys have created the past for me, I can limit the number of possible futures within a reasonable range. Otherwise, the interferometer will be drowned with countless similar yet different choices and completely lost its direction. So it's because everyone has outstanding intentions and abilities that why we have the results now. Nice. Cool. Oh, the next anchor point is... That's nothing, we already have the results, come with me. Oh, yeah, no, now she's leading us to a trap, we're gonna die. Vita's gonna kill us. Oh, this one's already here, though. Is this the place? Then I'll begin praying. Oh no, we're attacked by monsters. Oh.
でしょうか。いや、今はそんなことを考えず
We need to focus on killing the monsters. True.
おかしいわね。さっきまでこの世界の泡の敵はこんなに
Why am I
強くなかった
constantly running to the right?
これも世界の泡がもう
What's
すぐ
up,
滅亡するからなの。
Mahoya? Mahoya? Mahoya?
スーサナ、なるべく私に任せて。
Mahoya, please. Can you stop making me run to the right foot? Mahoya? Okay, Mahoya just can't make video games anymore. They've lost their touch. They have no idea what they're doing with video games anymore.
あと少し
GG's, Mahoya.
肩がつきますね。
Do,
やっつけましょう。
do. These buffoons have never heard of game. I just can't stop running right. Hoo ha ha, we survived! What happened? Are you guys okay? Kira told Vita about the abrupt battle just now. These monsters are way stronger than before, and as if they were activated, they only showed themselves and attacked us when we started praying.
私が人は
If I had noticed the danger early, Susanna might have become their shooting target.
それで
Is the anchor really there? Ooh. Something's wrong with the coordinates I have deduced here. So this is the place close to the border of the bubble universe, where the effects of the universe is the weakest. Because of that, those enemies you talked about gathered here. I look for the possible location of the next anchor again. That's good, as long as it wasn't because the anchor was damaged. But why did the deduction suddenly go wrong? Is there anything special about this place? Well, about that, it's just a simple operation error. Let this idiot explain it to you herself. I think I matched two values in the wrong order, so, the interferometer holds lists from many years ago, so you know. Like how Susanna misread the topics when writing the report sometimes. Oh, common mistake indeed. But that's not the issue. Why are you acting like it's justified? We went through a tough battle because of this just now. Kira looked at the robot and human bantering in front of her, and sank into deep thought.
確かに
Indeed, as Vita said, it could really be a small mistake, but if Vita led them into a trap with the excuse of making a mistake, as people who did not know the future, they would be defenseless.
もし
In that case, things are gonna be tough. Kira muttered to herself for a long time and finally decided to stifle this bottomless anxiety instead.
それにしても
Regardless, Vita will gain nothing from this bubble universe's destruction. At least our goals are aligned in this aspect.
それに
And
肩を並べて
if I can't even trust the comrades fighting alongside me, who else can I trust in this world? Thankfully, there were no mistakes in Vita's subsequent deductions, and so they've retrieved most of the anchors in Salt Snow Holy City.
やっぱり
As expected, I was just overthinking. She wasn't overthinking. If the interferometer's judgment is right, the next one is the last basic anchor on this side of the universe.
ビタ
But what's wrong, Vita? The deduction tells me that behind that anchor there may be some abnormal things.
普通じゃない
What does that mean? Something similar happened to the other Celia and the rest on the other side, and they lost contact with us temporarily. Maybe it's because this anchor is located at the weakest spot in the bubble universe, so it creates more changes that are similar to the nature of the Sea of Quanta. It can cause people to hallucinate and enter a dazed state, and even witness the past or future that couldn't have existed. Hmm. Okay. To witness the past and the future. Looks like this place, Kira-senpai, let's begin. Accidents might happen when we are praying. What kind of accidents? Don't tell me it'll be one of those enemies from before. We won't be able to deal with them if they appear again. Thankfully, this is the last anchor. Once we locate all the anchors, we can find a way to contact the real world. Let's end this strange journey as soon as possible and return to our original world. But as a Valkyrie, I must fight against all sorts of strange and abnormal circumstances. You never know what you'll encounter in the future. No, Susanna, what are you thinking? Calm down. Last anchor, please appear smoothly, very smoothly, very smoothly. And the world lit up abruptly. A white light began to spread deep in the Valkyrie's soul. Unlike the everlasting daytime in Salt Snow Holy City, this light was invasive. Even after closing her eyes tightly, Susanna could still feel that burning light. She seemingly heard a subtle voice next to her. Susanna. Ooh.
スーサナやめてください
Stop shaking,
このままだと
or I'm gonna faint.
ちゃいます
And it's Alvatir. Oh, you're finally awake!
アルビトル
What are you doing here?
スーサナ
Don't tell me you were scared into a coma.
私たちの
Have you forgotten our mission objective?
作戦こ
This place. We're in the real world. Or are we? Who knows?
ここは一体
What is this
どこです
place?
か
ST Fountain. Oh, come on, bro. A few minutes later, which means the Immortal Blades have received a mission to investigate this place, but we are trapped here because we were separated from Durandal during an ambush. Susanna listened to Elvity's explanation, sinking more and more into disbelief as she continued. In simple terms, that's right. I do have an impression of being trapped, but I should be trapped inside a bubble universe. Why did I appear here? Bubble universe? I've heard you talk about a similar experience indeed, but that's something that happened 7 or 8 years ago. 7 or 8 years ago? How can that be? So you mean that I fell asleep in the bubble universe and woke up 8 years later, just like what happened to Sushang? Or maybe like Durandal, I hurt my head during a mission and lost 7 to 8 years worth of memories. Well, how can that happen? What the hell? Everything before her eyes was so ridiculous that it was almost laughable. She could vividly remember the details of that mysterious universe, strange worlds of black and white, legendary Valkyrie senpai, and a comrade who became the sage. She couldn't see things as these things as had happened long ago. Every time she encountered an onerous obstacle, she would pray that she could wake up and to find all those troubles resolved. But now that it was really happened, Susanna didn't feel happy. I must be daydreaming. What's wrong? Bring out that A-rank Valkyrie spirit in you. Let's look for an exit again. A-rank Valkyrie? Didn't you pass your exam? What the hell? You don't even remember something so important. I don't think I'll really become an A-rank Valkyrie. Is this for real? Quick, hit me. Elvity shook her head in exasperation, but was centered and swung her fist at the girl's arm. When you passed your examination, I gave you a punch like that too. So do you believe it now? I didn't lie. Although I'm still unsure about a lot of things, but my strength is true, Elvity and I seem to have really become strong. Sushang once said, things will eventually sort themselves out. I'll trust in that and find out what happened as I search for an exit. Mm-hmm. This hole is still here, even in the past. Over here. What about here? I also put in the fucking AFO music. I can't find clues. As we've conducted a fingertip search earlier, the communication tool hasn't responded and no trace of leaving has been found nearby. In those abandoned buildings, there must be monsters hiding inside. What are we gonna do? There's more of them. It was these monsters that cut off our communication. You're such a crow's beak. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what a crow's beak thing means. I'm a A-rank Valkyrie. Don't forget it. They're about to have no energy left. No shit. Oh my fucking god. Talk about mechanical overload, eh? Damn, the crabs really are some of the worst enemies in the game, aren't they? Or whatever these things are. They really are just dog shit enemies. What a terribly shit section of the story. The ruins obscured their running figures, and the clamor of the enemies pursuing them grew distant. We're finally safe. How's your injury? Just a scratch. Don't worry, for Valkyrie scars from the battle are like badges of honor. Alright, now Susanna, it's fine. It's just a flesh wound. You're the one who got hurt, but you still have to comfort me. It's all because I'm too weak. In that case, we'll be an unworthy duo. Compared to Durandal and the rest, we don't have such an outstanding talent or ability. Even as we speak, team members, we got separated from the squad and lost contact with them. Sometimes I'm really worried if I'm a deserving Valkyrie. Am I always causing trouble? Captains and everyone else? I'm learning training, techniques, everybody, improvement. The more I strive, the better I do. The more trouble I cause. Because I'm not working hard enough, am I not smart enough, not brave enough, flaws, yada yada yada. If Durandal knows we're here, they would have definitely been able to tell me what to do in the situation. I've rested. Let's continue. While we had a tough time in the battle just now, we've still defeated plenty of enemies. Rest may be looking for us, monsters' corpses, constructive, whatever the fuck. This is a boring section, I'll be absolutely honest with you. If you lower your head, all you'll see is sand, you see the stars, look up to something. That just sounds like you, okay, blah blah blah. Your injury, nothing bad. It's a fucking obnoxiously boring section, Jesus Christ. Holy crap, it's cool and all to see Alvatir, but hey, make it interesting, eh? Don't lose the plot so quickly. Rather than being just a friend, I'd rather be an S-rank Valkyrie's partner. Will that day really come? Now's not the time! It's Durandal and Rita! They found us. Rita, we're here. Susanna, watch your step. She trips over, falls into something. Evidently she was too excited. She stumbled on the debris and fell down the building after a wobble. Down the whole building! In times like this, I should still look below. Her consciousness blurred. Along with the dizziness from the disorientation of the fall, the girl felt like her body did not belong to her. Soon after, she felt the cold, hard floor. Fine snow touched her fingertips. The girl sat up abruptly. She bumped her forehead against someone's chin and heard a groan. Susanna rubbed her head, or aching forehead, and panically, Kira was holding her chin. I didn't mean to do that. It's my fault for getting too close, but you're completely awake now, right? I realize what's going on. If Kira is here, it means that everything that happened before was just a dream. That's true, it's impossible to become an A-rank Valkyrie overnight. It's not accurate to call this phenomenon a dream. Its cause is more complex than you think. Look who's in charge! We were discussing why those scenes appeared just now. Of course, let's eliminate the possibility of a collective dream. When it comes to dreams, I'm a master of teaching people how to dream during the day. I can definitely tell the difference. In contrast, everything here feels similar to how those wisps make you feel. Nobody here still thinks that the wisps are the same, the souls on the other side, right? The dead can't be revived. Unless the residents of this universe can't truly die, why would their souls be around? Then the wisps that you guys talked about, strictly speaking, consolation is just a process that gives them their personalities. Didn't Celia and Hersh's sentience mention this before? On the other side of the world, there are 3 types of residents. Those who have yet to remember, those who remember the past, and those who have already forgotten. I think in the current situation, these form a complete lifetime of residents of the country of Iron Sand. They are living beings who exist to pray for the people on our side, or rather non-human entities. Is that right, Prometheus? Correct. Although accurately speaking, they are not abnormal stigmata. But you can apply our understanding of how abnormal stigmata exist on them. Which means the consolation and the nightmares we had before are all part of this universe's rules. What are you guys talking about? I wasn't the only one who entered an illusion? When the last anchor point appeared, I was pulled by a white light into an illusion set half a year into the future. There I was standing on stage, and there I was... accident during the performance. That's not important. Aside from how I saw pitch black darkness before I fell into an illusion, it's exactly the same as what you just said. What did you see? I don't really understand it. Something about a small planet, the borders of the solar system. Just, you know, monumental godlike shit. I escaped though. I thought, how dare anyone mess with the consciousness of a Hersha of sentience? That person must be tired of living. But I couldn't even find a trace of the mastermind. Because there's no mastermind behind all this at all. I saw you shouting at the air when I woke up. You looked incredibly stupid. What did you see, Sealy? Nothing special. I left this godforsaken place and trained and did missions as per usual. And Celia and I saw similar things. Susanna shared her experience in her illusion with everyone. As expected, you're running from enemies even in an illusion. After listening to everyone's experiences, I suddenly have an idea. I think I understand what all of you saw. Maybe my previous mistake dragged everyone into this. Perhaps what you saw was your future. Hearing that, everyone fell into silence. As it involved the nature of the interferometer, and everyone pondered on what Vita meant. As you said, indeed my illusion took place 7 or years. Classic typos. 7 or 8 years into the future. That's impressive. Even false gods can manipulate time. Are you saying that you just sent us a few years into the future? Of course I don't have that power, but this is a bubble universe that can transform deceptions into reality. Deceptions into reality? You mean I'm the one who allowed everyone to see those illusions? Well, according to the previous deductions, the anchor that triggered these illusions is incidentally located at where the bubble universe is weak. Maybe that's why Seely's sage authority was fully unleashed. But why did it cause others to think of the future? That's right. While locating the anchor, I was also fervently thinking of the possibilities that the various futures can hold. Although my tool can only deduce a limited number of possibilities, even so you can barely manage to deduce things that might happen. You don't even know what will happen in the next second, much less the future. That's true, the other Seely is right. It's just that one of the many possibilities regarding the future, it might not happen in reality. And ultimately, this is merely a guess. There's no reliable evidence for now. Although it's only a deduction, there are reasonable points. After we've solved the problem with this bubble universe, do you mind if I do some research on this phenomenon? Well, of course. In fact, I want to know more about it too. Future as in becoming an A-rank Valkyrie. If the future in my dream comes true, it'll be pretty nice. That'd be pretty good. Seems like I unintentionally gave everyone a good experience. I wonder if a certain someone who forcibly broke out of her illusion regrets now. Nonsense! From the moment I was born till now, I've never known regret. So what if the future has been determined? Us Herchers can change it if we don't like it. They are mere illusions. I can create numerous of them for you. I'm afraid you might lose interest in reality if you saw too many of them. It's not in the stars to hold our destiny, but ourselves. Even people of the past knew this. Modern folks like you should too. How rare to hear you say something logical. Must be joking. What you just said doesn't really fit that description. Are you wishing for a fight? Yes, fighting. Enough with the jokes. Don't let a guess like that affect our original pace. Since everyone managed to successfully capture all of the basic anchors, we can begin the integration test on the insides of this bubble universe. We should return to the tower. On this matter, she definitely will not harm all of you. Someone's confident. Kira-senpai, now's not the time for this. We can clarify everything after we meet face to face. Okay. Cutting off the connection with Susanna and the others, the tower instantly became quiet. Quiet. Perhaps the various tasks had taken up too much of Seely's energy and she was more silent than usual. Seely quietly listened to the other Seely's breathing as she thought about something. In the next moment, a simulated room replaced the White Tower, and 2 people walked into the shared soul space. Hello, Seely. It seems like we can't help much until Dr. Schrodinger and the others come up with a conclusion. Ever since we entered this bubble universe, everyone has been overwhelmed with numerous incidents, and now we finally have some time to ourselves. This was something we commonly had in the past. Yes. It's hard to imagine how so much has happened in just 1 or 2 days, but at least we can be together now. Were you alright when you were consoling the other souls just now? Yep, the Sage's power is resonating with me better now. To me, it has become as natural as breathing, and it's getting less burdensome over time. Well, don't worry, I won't suffer alone in silence. You should be able to tell that I've always been improving. Yes, you've improved a lot. No, it's nothing. It's right, Seely, it's just 2 of us here. You can say anything that's been bothering you out loud. Are you hiding something from me, Seely? What exactly did you see in the illusion of the future? And that's where everything goes wrong. Seely saw something that she didn't want to see, but something that will become reality. What kind of person was Seely? Even people who have only met her once could tell friendly, quiet, and kind. She's friendly but not intrusive, quiet but not cold, kind but not foolish. This personality was born with her, she was born with made her uniquely gentle. Or rather, she is the embodiment of gentle. 10 a.m. Shixel training room. Would you like to commence training? Initiate hard mode. In just a few moments, Celia was able to complete the S-rank Valkyrie's training. Next is... Timido? I guess that is true. She would be a part of the Shixel kind of like division or whatever. Celia senpai is so strong! A young Valkyrie stood before her at the door of the training room, her face painted with admiration as she looked at the battle record by the wall. When she noticed Celia walking toward her, she frantically bowed. Oh, good morning, Celia senpai. You're Timido, the support member who just joined the anti-Honkai special squad last month, right? Yes. Yes, I'm Timido Cute, melee striker of the anti-Honkai squad. Pleased to meet you. It's okay, don't be nervous. You've improved a lot from the time back in Nagazora. Half a year ago, Celia senpai saved me when I was in danger during an intership mission in Nagazora. We've only met once. I didn't think you'd remember me, much less know my name. Well, it's because I've watched videos of everyone's squad entry battles. All of you are such diligent, outstanding Valkyries and special squad members. Do you remember every new recruit's name? You're just as strong and gentle as the rumors say. Well, I never thought I'd be able to talk with you. I'm so touched. If there's anything that requires you to carry around items, leave it to me. I can serve your UT too. Please don't say that. I'm a normal fighter like everyone else. If it's possible, just call me Celia. Good job. Timido's face flushed. She didn't know where to look at... What? She didn't know where to look, and it seemed like she'll fade in any moment. She took deep breaths continuously, and finally calmed down after a few minutes. I still have a humble request, Celia. After you save me, I just can't forget your gallantry in battle. And it's just me. All of the squad members we know, feel the same. So, if it's alright with you, can you give us some pointers? It's not so much as pointers, but I'm always ready to spar. But today's not a good day. I already promised a friend. Don't worry, Celia, you'll get to meet lots of new friends. You won't feel lonely. Is something wrong, Celia? Your complexion is that of a ghost. She looked away in confusion. Under the rays of sunlight, there were only floating specks of dust and nothing else. Only she knew that she intended to eat 2 servings of parfait alone. What kind of person was Celia? Even people who have only met her once could tell friendly, quiet, and kind. She's lauded and well-liked, receives love and admiration from everyone around her. Just like when she was still at an orphanage, she treated this world kindly and in turn received this world's kindness. Fuck, that's so bright. Even though it has the ability to fly through storms, a butterfly still belongs in a garden. And now fate has only given her back her original life. At 3 in the afternoon, Celia knocked on the door of Kiara's home. After many years, when the incognito case in Nagazora was sold, she often did volunteer work here with Susanna. Oh my god, Miss Celia is here. Good afternoon. Celia, surrounded by a group of children once she entered through the door. Hello! She was reading a story, but she suddenly got a phone call. After that, she yelled, I'm sorry, I forgot I had to do a submission report and left. But Miss Susanna hasn't finished the story yet, Miss Celia. Can you continue reading it to us? Okay. The Little Red Riding Hood story, please. The sweet little Red Riding Hood went to see her grandma in the forest with a lot of delicious food. When she opened the door, she realized that grandma has grown fangs. It's actually the big bad wolf disguised as her grandmother. So that's the story. Very familiar. But Little Red Riding Hood suddenly laughed and said, "Ha ha ha! How interesting. Who would have thought that that a prey would deliver himself to me?" She swung her scythe and chopped. This is Little Red Riding Hood abridged. Abridged Little Red Riding Hood, dude. Jesus. Little Red Riding Hood sneered at the wolf that was still bearing his fangs and claws. "Do you know why my hood is red?" The wolf didn't reply. Of course, she shook her head in disappointment, picked up her basket and scythe, and began her journey to look for even stronger prey. This is a story of how Little Red Riding Hood changed her destiny through effort alone. The hunter doesn't appear? Hunter? There's no hunter. Because Little Red Riding Hood's the hunter. But remember that there's a hunter in the Little Red Riding Hood, and something feels weird. Miss Silly, is this really the story of the Little Red Riding Hood? Weird. From a certain perspective, it is a little weird. But never mind. That was unlike any fairy tale I've heard before, as expected of Miss Seeley. Tell us another one. Okay, I'll tell you a story that I'm the most familiar with. Long, long ago, there was a certain country with a distant and beautiful ocean. How far was that ocean? Well, so far that only a handful of people in the entire country knew of its existence. And in the depths of the ocean lives a pure and pretty little mermaid. The little mermaid was very lonely, and her only friend was her reflection in the water. I don't think that's how it works. You know, unfortunately, I don't think being in the water gives you a reflection. I see what they're trying to imply here, but I don't think that's how it works. At least I'm like 80% sure. I don't know. I've never been to the depths of the ocean, but I don't think you have a reflection when you're just sitting on the seabed. At least not in the water that you're swimming. No, that's not right, Miss Silly. If Little Mermaid lives in the ocean, how can she see her own No, okay, fair enough. How can she see her own reflection? Well, that's, I guess it's a metaphor for Seeley. So, Little Mermaid has no friends at all. Don't worry, nobody will distance themselves from you because you're past. Because of your past, and nobody will fear you because you're weird anymore. You will be loved by everyone and live a life illuminated by sunshine and surrounded by flowers. Who are you exactly? As the children looked at her in astonishment, Silly stood up abruptly and looked around her confused. Yet all that responded to her was silence. A warm breeze swept gently past her cheeks like a subtle sigh. What kind of person was Seeley? Well, that's a great question. Even people who have met her only once could tell friendly, quiet, and kind. Only people closest to her knew that gentleness that was akin to the sea, calming and accommodating, but with an unpredictable torrent hidden beneath. Her friendliness was generosity cultivated from thousands of journeys. Her quietude was tranquility born from experiencing changes, and her kindness was instinct, unchanged even after shedding blood and tears. Destiny's chisel refined the girl's life continuously and unforgettably. Having gone through the torments of deathly dangers, she was no longer that girl who knew to weep silently while hiding in a toy box. Silly ended her schedule for the day at 9 at night, and began to return to her temporary accommodation alone. From the adjacent crossroad, a woman in a hurry appeared suddenly and accidentally ran into her. Oh, I'm sorry, I was distracted and didn't notice you. Oh, are you Miss Seeley? It's someone I rescued previously during a mission, but at that time, Seeley was still... Have you forgotten? There was a hijacking incident in Ark City long ago. You saved me. If I'm not mistaken, you've changed a lot since then. How do I put it? Back then you spoke more fiercely, and your personality was extremely, assertive. No, you're mistaken. Also, you're not mistaken, but I've always been like that. I've never changed. As for the impression you have, it must be a misunderstanding. We're getting a bit deep here. Yes? Hello, Bronya. A familiar voice stopped Seeley in her tracks. Why are you here, Bronya? I came here on a business trip for an academic conference, so I dropped by to see you. Really? Why didn't you tell me? You must have been waiting for a long time. Quick, come on in. Although it was only a temporary accommodation, the room was still furnished, cleanly and cozily. Bronya looked around the room and sighed softly. It was hard to tell if it was out of relief or concern. It's late, how about you stay overnight? The teachers at Kiara's home gave me lots of snacks. I'll boil some tea. It's been a while since I stayed up chatting with you over tea. I'm so happy. Well, more importantly, how are you feeling these days? Have you gotten used to the place? And if you're willing, I can request for the principal to switch me back to your squadron, operations squad. Oh, I'll be glad to work with you, Seely. Bronya. Shit. But you must have things you want to do, too. You finally managed to get started on the path you want and found what you wish to do. I'll feel guilty if I stalled you from pursuing your dream. But Seely, are you sure you're okay alone? You don't have to worry, after all, I've been living alone for a long time before this. I'm sorry, Seely, but you know what I'm talking about, right? I want to hear your sincere thoughts. Oh, yeah, I see what's happening. This is... Sorry, I couldn't put it together exactly what was happening. This is Seely's dream. This is Red Seely's dream. But it's kind of like we're being told from this perspective that she wasn't aware that it is Red Seely, and she thinks that she's Blue Seely. This is my prediction. And then she doesn't remember other Seely because they've separated. Interesting. They've separated through some sort of means, as it's been foreshadowed many a time throughout this whole arc. And she's like, I don't know, forgetting? She's forgotten? Maybe some sort of memory removal or something? I'm not sure. Well, I guess we'll find out. I want to hear your sincere thoughts. I always believe in you and have witnessed your growth. You're very mature and strong now, but being strong doesn't mean that you have to endure everything alone. Are you sure you're okay? Alone? I'm fine, Bronya. The work at Shixley's going smoothly. I've grown a lot. Even made lots of friends. Even if I'm left alone, I also, Don't be afraid, Seely. Nothing will change. Even if I'm not by your side anymore. The gentle whispers of the night breeze blew over the girl's ears, like a wave that tried to ease her heart. Seely leaned her head on Bronya's shoulder and hid all her emotions in the dark. You're right. What do I need to do to accept this? The other Seely. She's not here anymore. Oh no, I guess it's not. I guess it's take away the part where I thought it was Red Seely. I thought it was kind of gonna be like this like glitch in the thing where there was kind of like what is it, schizophrenia? Where you believe... No, that's just a multi-personality disorder or something like that. Is that it? I thought it was going to be like, do like a glitch effect where it like changes her to the Red Seely. Perhaps too much of her past tugged at her heartstrings. Tonight, the memories that she had buried deep in her heart resurfaced in her dreams. Everything started from Kokoli's orphanage. A weak girl incidentally found out about her other self, who was hidden in the shadows. Life was full of obstacles. And through all the turmoils, her other self gained her own persona, appearance, and name. She shared the girl's life, and then, as expected, I'm back in the theater of domination? The theater of domination. I was a bit confused as to why we're here. I didn't know that Seely had any connection to this. I guess during that arc, Seely was kind of like getting tormented by the puppets with the whole like ear effect or something. This was the place where I first gave complete authority over my body to my other self. Even though her memories about the urge of dominance were unpleasant, the girl still had good memories here. That was the first time she fully opened up her heart. And as expected, you're not here either. Weak Pinocchio. A muffled voice was heard from an unknown spot at the edge of the theater. Who's there? Who's speaking to me? Let's go take a look. Pinocchio. Oh god. I don't understand fairy tales. I don't really know what the Pinocchio reference is. Liars? Everyone's a liar? Oh, it's gonna be a mirror. Afraid of his friends being taken. Weak Pinocchio had a secret friend. Lonely Pinocchio was worried about losing his only friend, so he hid his friend away. Even so, Pinocchio was afraid that his friend would be stolen away. Pinocchio thought, how can I protect my friend? And finally thought of a way. He thought, I just have to hide my friend in a place that even I cannot find. With that, Pinocchio forgot where his friend was. And from then on, Pinocchio never had to worry about losing his friend. Walking toward the mirror, Seely finally heard the full story of this fairy tale. What a strange story. Is the voice coming from the mirror? A full-length mirror stood silently before her, like a lone door headed to the unknown. Looking in the mirror, she had reflected a dim light. An inexplicable sense of unease grew in Seely's heart. She cleansed her fist, that were damp with cold sweat, as she walked toward the mirror. And there it is, the eye color change. Then that creepy ass smile though, what the fuck? Just puts on the creepiest smile. When she saw the reflection in the mirror, it felt like her blood had frozen into ice. Oh no, it is! So, this is the Red Seely. She finally understood the source of that unease. In the reflection of the mirror, the girl who had always had a gentle smile had blood-red eyes. How? Oh, it is. Okay, so I was correct. It just happened at a different time. Okay. Seely stared into the mirror with fear. The girl in the mirror had the same expression. A question was posed to her, seemingly from deep within her soul. Do you really not know what's happening? Seely trembled uncontrollably. She saw countless fragmented scenes flash before her because of her dizziness and blurred vision. A devastated world, enemies that cannot be defeated. Numerous wounds, rivers of tears, arduous battles. And an abrupt farewell. Disorganized snippets of memories scattered like shards and broken glass piercing deeply into the girl's chest. The last scene she saw in her mind was how her pure self quickly lost the shine in her eyes. Seely stumbled and held herself up against the mirror, and trembled as if she had been electrocuted. Nunde. No, the other one, Dosh there, whatever. Why did things end up like this? Because they were facing an undefeatable enemy? Because they never found a way of to victory in the end? Because destiny preferred to toy with the ill-fated? Or because of me? The rest is up to you, other me. Don't worry, we'll resolve everything. I'll protect you just like that time. Why didn't I fulfill my promise? I'm the only one who can protect you. That's supposed to be what happens. That's supposed to be what happens. That is supposed to be what happens. I'm the only one who can protect you. I'm the only one who can save you. I'm the only one who, can let you live on. Ooh. As layers of a gentle facade were peeled away, they revealed a truth drenched with blood. The crimson of the eyes of the person in the reflection was so intense that it was almost dripping with blood, as if to constantly remind her of who she really was. Just like a silent taunt from destiny. Look, you've deceived the world. You've even deceived your closest companions. But you still cannot deceive yourself. There it is. That's not true. It's not like that. It was not Seely who vanished, but... This must be it. This is the only way, rather. A body can continue to live without a shadow, but how can a shadow live without a body? So, she must be the original Seely. And it can only be that Seely. Seely's right here, no? She reached out her hand and covered the red eyes of her own reflection. It's alright, Seely. You'll get to meet lots of new friends. You won't feel lonely. Don't worry. Nobody will distance themselves from you because of your past, and nobody will fear you because of your weirdness anymore. What's that sentence? You will be loved by everyone, and live a life illuminated by sunshine and surrounded by flowers. Don't be afraid, Seely. Nothing will change, even if I'm not by your side anymore. Yeah, so my prediction was kind of correct. That was the Red Seely, and her dream / little future moment was actually going to happen with them separating. It's been foreshadowed throughout this whole arc that they're going to separate through some means that the thing is focused on them. Okay. And that, well, I guess they just both become real people, to be quite fair with you. They both become real people by the end of this chapter. It's just that now I think Veliona is in the real world and something happens to real Seely. So, let's figure it out. Seely? Are you alright, Seely? I'm alright. And that's right, how could she explain such a ridiculous yet realistic memory? You know, Seely isn't a crybaby or a dummy anymore. Oftentimes, she handles herself more maturely and bravely than you. These two seemingly unrelated things have given you a vague premonition. The faith of the masses and a heart that is selfless would only conceive a flower that would surely wither. Its fragrance is rich, but to smell it, one must prepare to face death. Maybe my previous mistake dragged everyone into this. Perhaps what you saw was your future. Even though she rebuked Vita back then, that guess definitely broke her heart. If that illusion was not an illusion, if what she saw was really the bloodied reality from making certain decisions, even if the probability was merely 1 in a billion, she absolutely didn't dare to ignore the risk. I'm fine, really. I just dreamed that the two of us had a huge argument. That was a hasty excuse. If the other her decided to press on the matter, she'd definitely notice something wrong, but she merely looked shocked for a moment before smiling again. I see that I should apologize in advance for the future me. Sorry. That's it, what a boring reaction. What if I'm lying? Then I could only believe in that lie, because you must have done so with my best interest in mind. Seely. Seely's words made her feel a rush of warmth in her heart, yet, when she recalled the details of her dream, that warmth was dampened immediately. Don't trust me so much, Seely. Alright, we're back to the real world. Oh, not the real world, but pseudo-real world. Okay, welcome back. It's a small errand, don't mention it, or rather this is all we can do to help. The main event is just about to begin. If we can't rely on the missing Misthalin, we'll have to depend on Vito and Dr. Schrodinger. Okay. Question remains, how can we successfully connect to the real world? Just listening to things like basic anchors, world scale anchors, and axis makes my head spin. If we don't have a path, we can just make one. A languid female voice rang suddenly. The idea that I'd left long ago appeared before them, out of the blue. Unbeknownst to them, Prometheus was already following behind her. And just like when they first met on the moon, Misthalin approached Seely with the great interest and looked around herself. Looks like I came just on time. You have impeccable timing indeed. Thanks for the compliment. I've always been dependable on a person. Or as a person. And this time, I've already prepared the necessary materials that you all need. Okay. Vita's just standing back there. Oh, Vita's gonna kill us all. Oh, find the real world's coordinates and look into the potential threat. That's pretty cool. Next time she's going to test the results of her work. A few moments later at the top of the tower. You mean you have a way to immediately construct a path that connects these two bubble universes to the real world? As an idea, of course I have aspects that are different from normal humans. The special aspect to always give a conclusion with any explanation whatsoever? Well, if Miss Kira is really interested, perhaps you'll be able to understand when you become an idea like me one day. Alright everyone, should be used to how Misthalin communicates by now. Next, I'll help her explain the fundamentals of this method. Okay, I'll respect your privacy. Actually, there's nothing special about the method that Misthalin uses. She acted alone only to efficiently make use of the remnants of Project Stigma. Well, perhaps Miss Shiguro doesn't understand it well enough. Project Stigma is a technology that utilizes humans' wills to construct a space. Although the spiritual space that Project Stigma created had dissolved when Kiana became the Herstro of Finality, it left some construction materials in the Sea of Quanta. On another hand, as an idea, Misthalin was originally one of the mediums that allowed Project Sigma to descend on Earth. If regarded as a one-off attempt, she's capable of bringing these building materials to us and building a bridge that connects the bubble universe to the real world. And of course, this project is extremely complex for her as well. Moreover, this makeshift bridge is bound to have many limitations. Isn't that so, Misthalin? Summarize it perfectly. All in all, if you can trust my efforts, our next step should be have Sealy give her located anchors to someone here so she is temporarily connected to the tower and carrying the axes of the two worlds. This person will then bring them back to the real world through the tunnel I created. If things go according to plan, this process will bypass Sa's potential influence, so long as this person returns to the real world successfully. Even if Sa is of the same magnitude as the Cocoon of Finality, you can handle Sa with Kiana's authority of Finality. And in other words, you intend to use the metric of Stigma Space as a temporary medium, so the bubble universe that is a main fold of the quantum side can be directly embedded into the proper world of the imaginary side, and even the Cocoon of Finality. I was thinking that exact same thing, bro. And without needing a normalized relay node like the Holy Sword. Dr. Schrodinger, you can understand it that way. However, if we want the others here to understand what we aim to accomplish, we probably should have explained it like Misthalin. Okay. If you can trust Misthalin, then let her guide Sealy to shape the axes of two worlds into a baton and relay it to the most suitable runner. This runner will dash all the way to the real world along the path created by Misthalin, relay the baton to the scientists over there and Kiana herself, and thus save everyone. I get it! Like the runner in the Battle of Marathon I read about in the history books. Couldn't you have likened them to someone who survived? The person to assume this great responsibility must be the most compatible with the real world, in other words, closest to being an ordinary earthling. Real world, closest. When Susanna lifted her head, she was confused to find everyone staring at her. Sorry, I habitually wrote down everything I heard. You guys keep discussing, just ignore me. Oh, you're such a dull child. How many of you realize that of all the people present, you're the most compatible with the real world? Me? You want me to take the anchors back to the real world? No way. I'm sure anyone else is more qualified than I am. Why is it me? This job is too difficult. Well, I can't do anything about it. This is because, Miss Susanna, you're the only ordinary earthling present. Let's go over this again. Among us, the two Sealies had awakened their stigma and are cursed to never leave the tower. Person of Sentience, being the purest manifestation of Honkai, doesn't have a human form. I've drifted after the sugars in the Sea of Quanta for many years, which has altered the nature of my existence. This is even more so for Dr. Schrodinger. Misthalin is an idea created by Stigma, and Prometheus is an AI from a bubble universe. As for Vita, according to herself, is a Venetian, or Venetian, through and through. Even if we ignore the premise of the real world, she has lifted a little to no connection with the Earth. That leaves you the only suitable candidate. This bubble universe's future and our safety all depend on you, Susanna. For years, the girl was troubled by her ordinariness. Yet when she was favored by her ordinariness for the first time, the first thing she felt wasn't joy, but panic. Wait a second here now. Since we all agree to the plan and the person, we will discuss now the details of implementation. Mr. Lin, how long do you expect our preparations to take? I'm not mentally prepared. That's funny. Susanna, being basic, is the key to the answer. 50 minutes before the plan commenced. Vita, when the plan commences, we need you to guide our way. Are you sure you don't need to rest before that? And when Vita, who was measuring something with the machine provided by Prometheus, heard Sealy say that, she smiled in response. It's okay, I'm still full of energy. In fact, I can work for 3 days without sleep. Rather, this is how I usually work. Jumping between different worlds really takes a toll on your stamina. Therefore, you don't need to worry about me. I've gotten used to it. Sealy nodded and looked at the tool that had been generating data in her hand. What is that? It's a simple data testing tool. Didn't Susanna and co got into danger because of my mistake? So I built this under Prometheus's guidance. It can correct mistakes caused by carelessness. It also stores Susanna's movement pattern model. You know she can be a klutz. Her operations are bound to be full of accidents. Predicting and preventing these accidents is the responsibility of we logistics members, right? And I'm speaking from experience. It was only now that Sealy realized Vita wasn't really as naive, cheerful, and carefree as she appeared to be. On the contrary, she had never forgotten those details that she waved off with jokes. That's kind of crazy. How could you be so be a simple optimist with the past like that? Thank you. Seely, I only did what I could. You don't have to be so grateful for it. And it was also for myself. You know my past. Throughout my long life, I've been saying goodbyes. Fate would always destroy where I called home and take away those things I grew close with. I've been running away, despite having the luck to outrun doom every time. Is this really okay? To be honest, I really like it. I've been to many places, but none of them compare to this one. It's idyllic and homely, like Xanadu. Xanadu? Hold up, what the fuck is that? Xanadu. Isn't that like a fictional place? Xanadu is the poem was inspired by Shang Tu, the summer residence of Mongolian general, and statements of Kublai Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan. Ah, I thought it was a fictional place. I think it's a fictional place in Final Fantasy games. Anyway. I met so many pure souls and involved in so many pure things. Hearing this might make you cringe. But here, especially with all of you, I enjoy every minute, every second. Oh, Vita. Realistically speaking, I actually don't know what I can do. I may have gone through many things, but I'm still weak, unlike you all. I can't protect the world I care about, nor the people I care about. But this time, no matter what, I want to leave everything, or rather something, for this world. Even if I must fight the power that can't be defeated, I want to protect my life. Don't worry, Vita, we'll succeed. She pounced on Seely and hugged her, and then stabbed her in the back and killed her instantly. Seely's hometown must be a beautiful and peaceful place, otherwise it wouldn't have raised a sweet girl like you. But now you have to go through all of this. To say you're not scared is a lie, right? It's okay, my hometown actually underwent a catastrophe that almost destroyed the whole entire world. But we managed to conquer it by working together. So this time I'll continue to see our problem in a positive light. Believe in us, this time we will help you protect our home. It will no longer be empty. Vita lowered her eyelids, possibly in nostalgia or anxiety. She recalled the night when she asked Seely to stay at her place. Had the girl before her already foreseen the whole story at that time? No. In that case, she wasn't another Vita. Her name was Seely, whose only similarity with Vita was the number of syllables. Nice. The anxiety swept along by fate had nothing to do with her to begin with. So when she raised her head again, she wore a pure smile. Let's do this together, Seely. Let's do this together. Oh, fucking hell, I have to do this in like 10-minute increments. Jesus Christ. Here's pointing to the most normal? True. Susanna is the most normal. Don't worry, Prometheus, it won't go wrong. Then again, haven't you been worrying too much lately? This can wear a machine down, you know. Ignoring Mr. Lynn's poking, Prometheus looked her in the eye with a frown. Your plan is quite risky. Must we do it this way? What can I say? Being risky is relative, Prometheus. If you knew the attempts I made, you will know the path I've chosen is the safest one. Come. There's much preparation to be done. I suppose you wouldn't mind helping me out though, right? Rest assured that this time I will send them to where they belong. The Shadow Realm! Because that's where they belong. 20 minutes before the plan begins. Hello. Can you stop going around in circles? It makes my head spin. It's not like I have anything better to do. That road paving plan didn't need my help. Can you believe it? So I'm here admiring the scenery. I don't care what you want to do, but can you not make a scene in front of me? Or have you gotten tired of living? What a troublesome one you are. If you want it so badly, this considerate Hirsch of sentience will offer you a piece of advice. If you don't want Seely to worry, you better wipe everything you saw in the illusion from your mind. Ooh, Senti peeked in and saw. True, that is just what Senti could do. Senti probably saw everyone's fucking dream, didn't she? Totally just disregarded that. And then Senti's dream... What was Senti's dream? She was like at the border of the universe or some shit? Sounds like Senti, something Senti would dream about. Relax, I didn't read your mind. Yes, you did. It's written all over your face. I didn't even have to guess. Your senpai will offer you some more advice to make your life easier. The key to manipulating minds doesn't lie in changing the mind, but gaining the trust. If you can make people believe, even the most absurd illusions can exert extraordinary power. Conversely, if no person believes, then even existing powers may be unable to do anything. Therefore, a person who realizes they're in a fake environment is largely unaffected by the illusion, and which is the first step in breaking free from it. So, don't watch what you don't like, don't play what you don't like, dump garbage to the garbage dump, ask others to fix your problems, who can bother you when you have it easy? Did Sandy just say a bunch of just nothing? Therefore, a person who realizes they're in a fake environment is largely unaffected by the illusion, which is the first step in breaking free. Don't watch what you don't like, don't play what you don't like, dump garbage to the garbage dump, ask others to fix your problems, who can bother you when you have it easy? Yeah, she just said a bunch of fucking nothing. See, she said words, but none of them actually function. Hey Ven, is it just me or the YouTube connection is very jank today? I've been buffering every 5 seconds, even after changing my connection. Ooh. It says all green on my side here. I guess we'll take a second to see if there's a problem. It says all green on my side. It says excellent connection for me. I'm unsure to tell you if there's a exact problem. It might just be the YouTube servers themselves. Maybe. But for me, everything is saying excellent. So I'm unsure to give you an exact answer there, Cares. But regardless, welcome to the stream, buddy. And you as well, Misanthrope. Welcome to the stream, man. So whatever you saw in the illusion, the malice of the world made you believe it. No matter how real it seemed or how accurately it reflected your inner fear, it's just an illusion. Once you have figured that out, the illusion can't hurt anyone, much less influence reality. You can even say this is the limit of the authority of sentience. Celie stared at the host of sentience in disbelief. She never expected to hear those words from her. After a while, she suddenly turned her head and spat out a word she wasn't used to using rather childishly. Arigato. Nice. You finally said it. I've waited long enough. Will you say, I'm forever indebted to the wise and noble Hirsch of Sentience? I love hearing that one. What's your problem? Yada yada yada. 10 minutes before the plan begins. Establish coordinates, transfer partial data back, turn to this side. Susanna, let's stop for now. Turn left, I can't stop. Stop what you're doing first. Have you wakened up from the notes yet? Yes, I have. No, Kira-san, but this isn't the time to unwind. The operation will commence soon, so I need to be familiar with myself. That's not what it said, but oh well. Let me go over the notes one more time. Okay. Looking at the overly cautious girl, Kira smiled in defeat. You remind me of my past, and the illusion that happened not long ago. Illusion? I still don't know what you saw in there. I saw myself standing on a stage as an idol again. Kira really likes idols. A tough Valkyrie like you must be able to deliver the perfect performance. Well, unfortunately, you're wrong. That performance sucked. It sucked so much that I want to dig it out of my brain and bury it in the depths of the Sea of Quanta. I haven't told you. I actually have a flaw that's fatal for an idol. Maybe it's just me, but I kind of don't like the whole idol concept with Kira. Just a personal thing that I'm not a fan of. It just kind of is weird, but here we go. What's the fatal thing? I suck at dancing. It's that I can't sing. Ah, the other one. Yeah, you shit at dancing or you can't sing. Fuck, could have guessed. It was a 50-50 and I fucking lost. It's even worse than the usual tone deaf person. Nani? This is my biggest secret. Please keep it for me. After all, an idol who can't sing is unacceptable as a Valkyrie who can't fight. I once did everything I could to become the perfect idol, and then I hit that recording booth, and god damn it, they kicked me out straight away. But no matter how I tried, idolhood never remained a star hanging at a height I couldn't reach. That illusion of the future told me the same thing. I may understand how you feel, Kira. I really want to become a competent Valkyrie like Durandal, Rita, and Sushang, so I've been watching their backs like they're stars in the sky. After giving my all, I thought I could finally touch them, but the reality was they've left me far behind again. I think Kira-senpai must be able to understand how I feel too. Haha. Yeah. Everyone's good at and bad at something. This is something we're born with and can never be changed. I think you can become good at everything. Like, if I tried to become good at long jump, I probably could. Kira-senpai! Is this all we can do? I can't accept it. It's alright, Susanna. We have may never become who we dream to become, dream to be because of our talents, our experiences, and many other factors. But we can also get infinitely closer to who we dream to be and do great things that even they can't do. That illusion also told me this. Kira smiled, although she was talking about failure. Her face was not at all gloomy. In that vision that reflected the future, she still couldn't become the perfect idol as her companions expected, yet even though they saw her hidden imperfect side, they weren't disappointed in her at all. Of course, this included the girl in front of her. Thus, now she was only pouring out that gratitude and realization she left at that time. Although it was a failed performance, it wasn't a terrible one. In that illusion, what I ran away from didn't become better. My singing still sucked, and my dancing was serviceable at best. But the audience enjoyed it. I realized that even if I sing off-key, even if I'm a clumsy idol, there are people who still love me. True. They sang my song with me. It still sounded terrible. Not terrible, but bad. But I could feel their love for me, and their love for my stage. Isn't that an idol's job? In the end, I never became the perfect idol, but I became a true idol. And maybe this is the truth of dreaming. As long as we look ahead and do our best, our dreams might come true in an unexpected way. So, Susanna, don't be nervous, and don't be scared. If you dedicate your heart, Sasageo, and soul to something, you will surely achieve something that no other person can. Who's to say you haven't already become a competent Valkyrie by then, eh? Nice. It's almost time. Relax one last time and get ready for action. She winked at Susanna, for no reason. This bubble universe's future and our safety all depend on you. Wow, what an ending line. Susanna, you'll do great, don't worry about it, just keep pushing forward. But by the way, everyone's gonna die if you fuck up. Good one, Kira, good one. You're always good at this. You're really good at this encouragement thing. Hey, if you fuck up, everyone's dead. Yeah, we won't let you down. Fucking hell. It's probably my ISP or YouTube server itself. Damn, I'm just going to catch up with the VOD then. I'm so sorry to hear that, Cares, but I'm going to suspect it's probably YouTube's server itself, because I've been having a few problems with YouTube here as well over the past 2 days, since like Subnautica stopped. We stopped doing Subnautica. So I think YouTube is having a few problems, but regardless, I guess the VOD will always be up, and the video will be uploaded in the next 2 weeks or so, next week and a half, rather. So, is everyone ready? We're heading out. With a prompt from Mistel, everything in their sight began to diffuse like ink in water. Black and white gradually dimmed, and new colors spread out before their eyes. It was red and blue. Oh, not this fucking place again. I hate this fucking tile set. Are you okay, Susanna? I'm just a bit dizzy. Why is it so nauseating to enter and exit the bubble universe? But Miss Mistelin is amazing. She sent us to the other, us out of the bubble universe without using any tools. What a magical existence an idea is. It's just a little trick I picked up. Miss Shigura must be very familiar with it. Ever since entering this space, Kira had remained silent, seemingly suppressing her anger. Having finally reached her limit, she squeezed the weapon in her hand hatefully, as if it was Mistelin herself. I'm so familiar with it. Thanks to you, I wandered in this kind of space for days, before I found a way to exit it. Yes, this is the spatial gap in the bubble universes, and now I will pave the way to the real world for you. According to the plan we discussed, I'll predict and tell Mistelin the optimal route to the real world to help you avoid unnecessary mistakes, including that elusive Sa, if possible. The rest is up to you, Kira and Susanna. And as someone who's relatively closely connected to the real world but isn't carrying an anchor beacon, I'll accompany you as far as I can go. And next, I'll temporarily bind all anchors to the worlds to Susanna. We're counting on you, Susanna. Silver glows gathered around Susanna. She clenched her fists and nodded vigorously. I'll do my best. Don't worry too much. Like we agreed, keep it up. Have fun. Enjoy. Keep the thing going. Let's begin. Hurry up. Thank you. She stopped smiling for once and raised her flag at the end of the road. Ooh. どうぞ What'd she do?
行きましょう。
What'd she do?
印をつけた方向は見えるかな。
Oh. I want Honkai Impact to start getting a bit more creative with their animations. I want to see what she did. Did she just fucking hit the ground with a spell? Come on, we can do better than that. We can do a bit more of an animation than that, come on. I see something over there.
あそこに何かがあるみたいです。
Don't get too close.
離れなさい。
It's gonna suck her in. That's Sar's butthole, I'm guessing.
ああいう
Beneath that spatial distortion lies the sea of Quanta's curvature and singularity, which should be one of the byproducts of Mistress's forced opening a path.
厳密に言うと
Although a curvature singularity of this scale is basically harmless and can't maintain itself for long. But if we take the nature of this mission into account, making contact with them might eject us from a current path, thus ruining our efforts. Due to this factor, we must keep our distance.
わかりました。
I understand. So, we just need to stay away from those things. Sure. No worries.
危険地帯を無事通過したわね。
Yep.
どうだった？
What do you think, Susanna? Isn't it fun to weave through the sequel of Quanta?
先輩。
It isn't fun. I'm so nervous I might puke.
でも
But you never stop running.
危険なそれはどうか
That's not the
初めて
case.
飛び列車の中で
Soldiers always run
そういう
forward and they
状況と
get the job done. Most of this conversation is mostly going to be irrelevant because it's two characters just comforting each other. Have a great day. Don't worry, Susanna. You're comforting. You're a strong lady. Push forward. Don't vomit. Just keep pushing onwards. Sasagio, Tatakaye, freedom, yada yada yada. I'm not going to indulge in just a fucking emotional conversation. Ah, yes. Puzzles. Ma 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 ma. And is there going to be another emotional conversation right here? Susanna, how you holding up, buddy? No? Oh, boss fight, here it is. I suspect we are going to fight this Sa eventually. We are going to encounter this Sa we speak of. This route is rather complex. I can't find any landmarks. Luckily, Kira is with me, or I'd have gotten lost.
待って、スーサナ。
Let's split up here, Susanna. I'm not ready.
ごめんね。
I've accompanied you some more, but I'm getting griefed by Misthalin.
もしもし。
Hello, are you okay?
こっちの予測です。
The forecaster is fluctuating more violently as we speak. Have you encountered enemies? Can you hold them off?
その予測。
Your forecast is way too late. There's no time, I'll stall them. You keep going down the route planned by Veda. Quick!
私たちの
Don't forget our
一番
primary
大事な
mission is to
任務は
establish a connection with the real world.
それはスーサナ
The thing can only be done by you and must be done by you.
それに
Besides, Misthalin said this path will only last a short time. I don't trust that woman in the least, but since we've developed this plan together, we're going to treat it with the utmost seriousness.
怪物の
Leave the monsters to me.
何はどうあれ
You call me senpai for a reason.
防衛戦でしょ慣れてるわ
And then, she just continues fighting with me. Nice.
ハートを狙い撃つわよ
She just,
これは
oh.
キラ先輩が稼いでくれた時間無駄にするわけに
What
は
the fuck is happening? Oh. What an unfortunate time to use an ultimate. Oh, for fuck's sake, they need to get rid of these white screens, man. They need to get rid of these white screens, please.
ちゃんと回避
Holy sh- whoa. What? That's not how black hole things work. Sure. Whatever you say, game. Whatever you say. Out to you.
よくやった私
Yeah, we'll do radar things like that,
頑張
sure.
り続けたら
Sometimes when Honkai Fate gets some shit weirdly bad, it's kind of funny. The nature of the badness.
どうしよう数がどんどん増えてる
Just have it have a radius. What's up with the cone? If it's gonna follow you through and through, just have it have a radius. Oh shit. It's a funny game, this one. No sprint option. Good one. Oh, that's the wrong portal. Vita's gonna betray us here.
少し遠回りになるけど、少なくとも目の前の障害を回避できる。
She's gonna. This is where Vita kills us.
わかりました、ピタさん。
Oh. Mm. As Susanna struggled forward on the other side, Shiriko was trapped in an endless battle. Up. 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 It never ends! So many enemies! It's a good thing we let Susanna leave.
でもこのままだと私も持たない。
Oh, whoa. Oh, Kira. Jesus Christ. Boop, boop, boop.
私が倒れたら怪物たちはすぐにスーソナの方へ向かってく。
Now they really did put, like, the most annoying quantum enemies together. Uncaparaciously.
あれを解放するしかなさそうね。
They were like, you know what, this will be fun. The devs sitting there like, you know what, this will be fun actually. CC, Crabs, and fucking Tutankhamun. Oh my god, Mistelin's here to help! Oh.
イデアの種がしばらくガードしてくれるから。今のうちにそこから離れて、ミステルが怪物を何とかする。
Mistelin will deal with them, really? Kira runs away.
わかったわ。
Classic widescreen, love it. Blinding my eyes. I'm losing vision. Evacuating along the path that Mistelin left for Shigure, her vision suddenly darkened and then brightened. And after seeing her surroundings, she was dumbstruck. She had returned to the start.
どうして
Why am I back here?
よかったでしょ。
Isn't this great? It saved you from taking the return trip and getting lost in the depths of the Sea of Quanta.
確かに
It's great, alright, but then you shouldn't mind me asking you some questions.
あなたの話
According to you, this path to the real world only lets pure humans like Susanna go through. If that's the case, why did your seed of idea pop up in the depths of our journey? This conflicts with what you said.
ミステル。
What are you hiding? You said you could handle the monsters, but how?
あらもう。
Oh no. She smiled softly. Somehow her porcelain skin appeared a little pallid.
キラのような
I thought you would have guessed with your clever mind.
それができ
I was able to do that only because
こういう世界へと
this path leading to the real world is paved
私自身
with the same material that built me. If there's an enemy too much for you two, as long as I detach this part of my body into the Sea of Quanta, everyone will be safe. Isn't that right?
みんなの安全を守れる
Oh,
ミステル
it's kind of crazy.
あらどう
What is it, number 17? You really show such a surprised face. I find it fascinating.
しているのに
Don't ask the obvious.
あなたで作ら
You will pave the way. What does this even mean?
そのままの
Take it literally. I'll convert the mother of ideas, which is the Stigma space, into building materials and construct a path to the real world. I guess that is why the path did look like the same texture and color scheme as Mistelin.
普通のイデア
General ideas can't produce enough materials, but remember, I have the legacy of Project Stigma. From a technological standpoint, this isn't much different from what I did on the moon.
原理はわかり
Well, I know the principle, but I don't understand.
成婚計画
Project Stigma is long over. Doing this again is putting your life at stake again.
だって仕方
Well,
ない
it can't be helped,
それ以外
because I'm incapable of anything other than that.
何もみんなが安
While you were busy integrating anchors, I tried various methods. I wanted to establish a connection with the real world as I did before when laying traps. However, those methods all
全部
failed.
連絡できなかった
They either couldn't connect or caused accidents after connecting and aren't practical.
もしかしたら
Maybe we're actually up against a rather terrifying enemy whose name is Sa, if I could recall correctly. All in all, those children are stuck here because of me. If they get lost in the Sea of Quanta or even meet with the Graven Misfortune, I'd feel really guilty. Therefore, this is the best method under the circumstances. Relax, number 17. My body's only being borrowed temporarily. I'm saying I'm taking less risk than a woman giving birth to a child. Nice. Good reference to Alexandra. Can't you have more faith in me? Good reference to Alexandra. I don't have faith in you because you're spontaneous and whimsical, Mistlin. Recalling that conversation, the AI known for its logical analysis had a rare urge to make a wish. I hope everything goes smoothly. The Sage's authority sensed Prometheus's wish. Prometheus, how are they doing? Prometheus looked at to the mechanical assistant used for contacting Vita. Their coordinates were shown on the projected screen. There's been a minor mishap, but things going well. Suddenly, an alert sound. Shit's not going well anymore. Prometheus stared at the projection without blinking. She seemed to be carefully choosing her words before explaining the situation. Seely, Vita, listen to me with utter calmness. Everyone is dead. Susanna's tracker has disappeared. Well, there it is. How did things come to this? When Susanna was a child, she already noticed that fate had a penchant for toying with her. A painstakingly made cake dropped on the ground at the last moment. A meticulously rehearsed dance ruined by a sprained ankle. Went stargazing and ended up being accidentally locked on the roof for a whole night. These were a part of her daily life. And it wasn't until becoming a Valkyrie that she completely understood the cruelty of fate. It could undo years of hard work in an instant. I'm done for. I don't even know where I am. The only thing she knew was that she was far away from the path that Mr. Lin paved for her. What should I do? I can't be stuck here forever now. Suddenly, I got a message from Alvatir. Perhaps fate was more lenient with her today. The communicator in her hand beeped timely. Are you here? Susanna, answer me! Susanna looked around in bewilderment. She was amidst a vast emptiness. After I ran into that weird thing, I got thrown into this unfamiliar space. What should I do? Can I still make it? Calm down, buddy. As long as I know your approximate location, I can calculate your travel history and exact coordinates through the interferometer. This will strain Mr. Lin, but given that we can talk over the communicator, we can pave you a new path to the real world once we find your coordinates. We're estimating your location. Can you tell us anything about it? It looks the same. There's a bunch of cubes and shit. There's a nice little barrier thing, kind of like a seal around me. It looks like I'm sealed. Did you find anything? The view is unchanging. I didn't find any clues. There has been instances where you wanted to find people in landmarks but only found utility poles instead. Vita told you a total joke to lighten the mood, but neither of them could manage a smile. I'll go in farther places. There's a weird crystal here. What do I do with it? Do I just hit it? There's nothing here except for this oddly shaped crystal. Susanna's just lost all emotion. No, that's cool to hear. Here too. Time ticked by, yet Susanna couldn't find any clue to her to help her locate. I just missed help. Help her locate herself. Her hope dwindled and her eyes began to water. And we're gonna be stuck here. If so, who can help Seely? They trust me so much they gave me this huge responsibility, which only Durandal has fulfilled in the past. But I'm Susanna. She covered her mouth and sobbed quietly. Nothing had changed. She was still the newbie who just joined Shixel and got ambushed by a training mecha. Only this time, there was no retry button for her to press. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. Had I been more careful, I wouldn't have screwed up. It's all my fault. Are you crying, Susanna? This is a bit tough to read. I'm not, I'm just anxious because I haven't found any clues. Keep your hope up. Even without more data, we will eventually find a way to locate ourselves. You keep... What happened, Vita? It's just Mr. Lin needs some help. Please wait, I need to deal with some things on my end. Sorry. Vita was in too much of a hurry to finish, but it was enough for Susanna to guess what the matter was. Mr. Lin, who was paving the way to the real world, ran into a problem. and its cause was obvious.
きっと
It must be me.
また今回の計
They
画
tried so hard to make this work, but my mistake completely ruined it.
私
Indeed, it was all her fault. Only that was why she was in no position to feel bad about herself and do nothing.
そうだよ
Susanna, this isn't the time to cry.
少なくと
At
も
least I need to try
この
mending
店
my
に
mistake.
シータさん
Vita, Mistler, and all the characters, they're counting on me. I can find a clue. Can I? As if guided by fate, something fell out of her chest.
これは
What's this?
私のノート
My notebook. Something fell out of her chest? Could have said pocket or something. Looking at the tiny writings on the notebook, Susanna didn't know whether she should cry or smile.
にメモをして
I took so many notes and did so much homework, but none of it paid off in the end.
私って
I'm such a terrible student. She shook her head and was about to close and pocket it, when her gaze fell on one page.
今回のメインとなる目
The
標
main
は
objective of this operation is to stabilize two worlds with anchors and launch them back to the real world.
そして
Ultimately, by using Kiana's power, the two worlds will gain a stable structure and be saved from doom.
そのため
To
に
do this, we need to first find a number of basic anchors distributed across the two worlds, and then connect them to an axis, which is the Sage Tower.
そうなると
This way, it will be able to construct a world-scale anchor, which is essentially obtaining a rope that can pull two bubble universes.
手綱
Rope. Different anchors.
もしかして
Could this be another way? Indeed, for Susanna, who was lost in the Sea of Quanta, she knew no more about her whereabouts than a droplet that fell into the ocean. But here and now, she still shouldered the rope that could pull worlds. Her location alone was difficult to mark, but when the entire rim of the bubble universes shifts under her pull, it would most definitely be observable in the Sea of Quanta. The data that she habitually recorded happened to be solid proof. She finally realized that what she did out of cowardice wasn't meaningless. Vita, sorry to interrupt you, I know where I am. About 5 minutes had passed. In these 5 minutes, Susanna reported all the measurements on her notebook to Vita orally, which was the most primitive way. About 5 minutes more passed. And just when Susanna thought her idea was nothing more than a wild goose chase, they found her.
来たわスーサナ
I'm ready, Susanna.
そっちは始めてもいいわよ
Let us begin.
よかった道がつながりました
頑張ってスーサナミステルは長く持たないわこれが最後のチャンス
Misthalin won't last much longer. Oh, come on, dude. Don't kill her off.
キラ先輩
You went back too. That's great.
よかった
ええそれより
But enough of that. Seely's found something.
見つけたみたいよスーサナちゃん
Can you see the light in the distance? No.
光の点は見えるかな
Like, maybe? Is that it right there?
見えてます
Oh, it's that thing right there.
あれがこっち側と固有
That should be the connection point between the real world and here. Oh.
ああスー
If you can make it over there, or our plan will be a success.
僕たちの計画はほぼ成功するんだ
はい任せてください
Some shit's gonna happen right now.
こう
We're
いう
just...
頭を使わない
We're gonna
ことは
touch that and something's
一
gonna
番得
happen.
意ですから
She had forgotten how long she had been running. The road behind her let out one threatening roar after another. But she couldn't care about what was happening behind her, because merely lifting her legs mechanically had drained her attention. Go faster, even faster! I must save time for everyone in the real world. Her lungs stung with every breath, as if her alveoli... Is that a sauce? What is that? Was gasping for air. The lack of oxygen caused her vision to darken. In fact, she couldn't tell if she still had vision at all, actually. Only a faraway and hazy light was in her sight. Somehow, she remembered her childhood running. Although she had begun practicing dancing from a young age, she lacked in physique. She couldn't jump high enough, run fast enough, and always tripped when she leapt.
そうだよね
Ever since then, whenever we run together, I fell behind the other kids. What did Dad tell me back then?
他の人との
Don't
距離
calculate the
感
distance
を考えれば
between you and them, that'll only get in your way.
一番近い
Just
仲間
focus
の
on
追いつく
keeping
こと
up
に
with the one nearest to you. Just focus on the star ahead of you. That's right. If I keep running and running, I can do it one more day. And I can catch up to them. I can learn to dance. I can become a Valkyrie. This time I can do it. Nice. Motivation.
苦しい私
Am I gonna die? No, I'm already hearing things. There's apparitions in my brain. Oh my god, I've got schizophrenia. Whoa. It's kind of like playing Subnautica again. You just got fucking weird boxes. No, I'm dying. I can't fall here. What she was shouldering wasn't the success or failure of one person, but the future of an entire world. I haven't been there for a long time, but that world is a real world, and its residents are living humans. Not to mention that those staying in the bubble universe included her trusting and caring partner and friends. She suddenly recalled a joking remark she made. Oh, I get it. Like the runner in a battle of marathon. I read about it in the history books. Even if I'm gonna die, let me die on the other side. In 490 BC, the alliance of Greek city-states fought against the invading Persian Empire at the Battle of Marathon. I didn't ask, I'll be absolutely honest with you about this, but we're gonna get some sort of historical lesson now, aren't we? After Greece defeated Persia in this battle, the Athenian soldier... Pheidippides... That's a good name. Hold on, is that a real person? Hold up, I need to just check. Pheidippides. Is that how you say it as well? Pheidippides, or Philippides, is the central figure in the story that inspired two modern sporting events, the marathon race and the Spartalathon. Pheidippides is said to have run from a marathon to Athens to deliver news of the victory of the Battle of Marathon. Okay, cool. The Athenian soldier, Pheidippides, ran from the marathon to Athens to announce the Greek victory and died of exhaustion. Suddenly, possibly a hallucination caused by the dizziness, Susanna felt the light in front of her enlarged like a mirror. In a split second, white light occupied her vision. Coordinates confirmed. Is that Einstein? Establishing connection. Looks like the other side is trying to reach us as well. Channel established. 3, 2, 1. It was. Traction mode activated. Finally found you guys. Bronya in vision. Glad to see you again, Susanna. After you went missing, we've been looking for you and Seely. What happened to you two? Why did you suddenly leave the real world? Where's Seely? Isn't she with you? Listen, it's a long story. Like, it would take a whole 12 minutes to talk about it. Take it easy now. Bubble universe is collapsing and Seely, help, quick! Einstein, it's an emergency. We need to get May to help. No problem. Got her on the phone right now. Susanna, Seely's on the other end of this passage, right? Be quick. Don't worry, I'll use the Hersher of Reason authority. The sirens in the lab suddenly rang out. Einstein dashed to the central console and operated for a moment, and her face paled. At the same time, to Susanna and Bronya's horror, they discovered the channel that led back to the real world disappeared. Meanwhile, on the other side. We did it, Seely! What happened? Is the comm system malfunctioning? Vita? Strange, there's a problem with the comm system. Vita, who planned to help Mr. Lin stabilize the passage, noticed that her connection with the tower was cut off by a mysterious force. Coincidentally, Mr. Lin's face was drained of color. Barely had much color, but because she's quite white, she looked like she could collapse at any moment. Could this be Sa? Mr. Lin nodded reluctantly. It seemed that she too was unsure of the situation. She shook her head. When she was about to say something, her gaze froze and her face showed panic. What's wrong, Mr. Lin? Kira's also... It was only then that Vita noticed that they were staring solemnly at herself. Tragedy always struck when people expected the least. Such as now, her body was disintegrating in the winds like a weathering statue. Haha. This body really can't escape the fate of perishing. Soon, I will meet them, my family. Why, though? I'm Vita. That's why. I love all of you. Oh, fuck, that was a... Oh. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, eh? They really put all the fucking impact in this last act. Jesus Christ, they really chucked a lot of impact there. That was great. That was okay, a bit boring at the start, I'll be honest, but a bit boring at the start. But that was really cool at the end there. So Susanna almost died, kind of cringe. We get a look at the future with through Seely's dream. Vita's gone. Mistalin has showed actual exhaustion at one point in her life. Wow, that was pretty cool. That was enjoyable. That act, the first time I've enjoyed this Seely Susanna arc, which has started from chapter 36 through 37 and 38. This is the first time that I've enjoyed it, and it's unfortunately, well, not. I don't think we're at the end of this arc, but we're closing this arc off. I think next chapter. So it's pretty good. That's pretty cool. So I'm assuming we have no clarification of what killed Vita, or not. She's not maybe dead. I'm not sure, but I guess she is. I'm assuming it's Sa. Mistalin's road disappeared. Maybe Mistalin's also in some form dead, or maybe has disappeared or been lost in the Sea of Quanta. And then Kira at the same time is also now probably stuck in the Sea of Quanta as Mistalin's weak and have no way of getting back. So, in summary, everything that could have went wrong did go wrong. Everything that possibly could have went wrong, in fact, did go wrong. Sounds about how Honkai Impact writes its stories. Whenever something can go wrong, it will. GG Honkai Impact, good job. Decent chapter. Although the first two acts, kind of Resident Sleeper. Act 3, kind of a banger. Pretty cool. Very much enjoyable. Oh god. Well, that was that. I'll probably just do some of the event, and then we'll probably end the stream in just a short while. But let's just do some of this event. Very, very enjoyable story. I enjoyed that one. Wow. I wasn't expecting to enjoy that. Holy crap. But somehow, the only character that I'm not concerned about in any way is Schrodinger. I feel like Schrodinger at this point can't have anything bad happen to her because she's already had everything bad possibly doable to her be done. Just taking L after L almost all the time.